Hi, it's Nomi Prince from Prinsights Global, and I'm thrilled to be here with Rick Rule after a very successful symposium. Rick, how do you think it went?
I think it went very well, thanks partly to you. You gave a great keynote speech, and unlike some speakers, you participated in every aspect of the conference. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. You make it very easy because everybody that is here is phenomenal. Do you have any highlights that you want to talk about?
I think the understated part of the conference is simply the quality of attendees, both online and in person. There's a strange bias around conferences that all the knowledge in the room emanates from the dais to the crowd, which is untrue. I monitored some of the discussion as an example for the online people. Highly intelligent, highly intelligent. There were a bunch of people in the dais, or pardon me, in the audience that would have done well in the dais. So while I'm proud of every aspect of the conference, I'm proud of the staff for making the thing run so smoothly. I'm proud of the exhibitors. I'm proud of the speakers. I'm particularly proud of the attendees. I think the real strength of the conference is the customers it serves.
That's really true, and I hear that this year we've had you have had 30% more physically here, and then even more than that on live stream.
I think that's right. We haven't seen the final numbers, but certainly the conference gains strength year in year.
And what do you attribute to it? Is that the natural resource focus? Is that you? Is that the combination? Is it the attendees talking to each other about getting here?
I think it has to do with a lot of things. We've done this conference for 20-something years, and if you make things a little bit better every year, after 25 years, it gets pretty good. We have done things right. We have attracted macro speakers like yourself who teach our attendees about the way the world is, rather than the way that some aspects of mainstream media would prefer to have you believe that it is. We have always had very high quality exhibitors because we vet the exhibitors. They have to be owned by us. I think that helps. And two, we have a community by now of attendees, many of whom have been with us for 20 straight years. So I think all of those things together make the event valuable for every constituency. I know many of the speakers, I'm hoping yourself included, in addition to getting paid to be here, enjoy being here, which I think is useful.
Yeah, I think all of us, and we talk to each other as well, speakers, attendees, and we all feel that this is literally the best conference on the planet for natural resources, and because of how you connect to everyone. So let me ask you this. What did you learn from this conference beyond the conference itself? What information did you learn that is helpful in how you look at the world?
I think what was particularly, well, there's a whole bunch of things that were useful to me. I should digress and say, although I own the companies that were in the exhibit hall, every single time you sit down with company managements, you learn something. And it refreshes in me the sense that you have to talk to these people. You have to refresh your memory every single quarter. What was, I guess, most useful for me in the macro, because I'm not really a macro guy, was that there are a bunch of people who are much more knowledgeable about global macro than I, that come to the same conclusions from very, very different points of view. Your point of view, your background, your experience on Wall Street, versus, as an example, Daniela's versus Rickard's, a whole bunch of different disciplines. And what was useful is not necessarily everybody expressing doom and gloom, but people expressing a lack of confidence in the information that we receive from other sources, and a sense of caution, a sense that things are not what they appear. Not that the world is going to end on Thursday, but rather that you need to look at indicators that you wouldn't normally look at. And it was wonderful for me to be able just to listen to the indicators as an example that you look at, which I never would have thought to look at.
And also, therefore, a lot of us pointed to real assets as being, I did in particular, but a number of us in terms of being sort of the way to at least invest around or out of this. You've been doing that for decades. Is there a particular asset class you're more interested in right now than others, or is it pretty much across the board?
Right now, there's not enough hate in any particular commodity for me to go crazy. I remember 2 years ago, one of the first conferences you did for us, uranium was extremely, extremely hated. The stuff was selling for $20 a pound. It cost the industry $60 a pound to produce it. That was a no-brainer. Either the uranium price went up or the lathe went out. There's nothing that enjoys, if that's the right phrase, the same level of hate that we experience with uranium, though. There are commodities, as an example, Dan Ferris talked about U.S. natural gas, which I think are almost certainly to go higher. I think there are some commodities, which I tried to point out in my talk, that while they're not hated yet, are going to become hated. Things like lithium, which was the sort of the boom of 18 months ago. Things like nickel, which has fallen in price by half when the industry expected it to double. That hate will come in 2026, 2027. I hope that you and I are together, and we can tell people how to exploit that hate to their own profit.
Take a page out of Uranium's book. Thank you so much for spending your time here and just putting on this conference again on behalf of myself and everyone who is here. And I think I have spoken with almost everyone. You bring us together, and we really hope you're going to continue to do this for a long time.
Well, the conference is a labor of love. I'm 71, and as long as I'm cognizant, I will continue to do this. Thank you, too, as I say, for your participation in the conference, not just your main stage presentation, but in fact, your participation in the exhibit hall. I mean, going on the board of directors of one of the exhibitors is certainly above and beyond the call of duty. I hope you profit from that.
I do as well. Thank you again so much. This is Nomi Prinz from Prinsights Global with the Rick Rule.